like this ragdoll thing.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm really getting into it today. I've got the energy coming in. I've got that haircut energy.
I know, new haircut, Charlie.
The haircut, and the beard's gone. Crazy.
Doom will have to make a Discord emoji out of that. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the final episode of the Bad Questions, Worst Answers podcast. Each week, I, Connor, along with my friend Charlie.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Hey. Okay. Yep. Present a bad question to the others. Then we attempt to explore these bad questions with the worst answers. Guys, I just want to start off sort of a...
It's the BQWA. You know where this is going.
I just want to start this off with a classic BQWA apology. I feel like the last few weeks of main channel content have, I went through this weird little experimental different phase, and you know what, I got out of it what I wanted, but it wasn't the best on-brand content, which, I just want to apologize for. And
look, here's the deal. If you don't, why am I holding this? If you don't play at the fringes like that, you're not going to you're not going to find those new angles.
Exactly.
You're not going to learn those new techniques. You got to be out there doing it.
And you can't stay too on the fringe, because then, that's what it is, the fringe. People aren't going to notice you when you're on that fringe. So I just want to apologize. The video that was up yesterday, let's call it a bump in the road. I commented that down below. Let's call it a bump in the road. We'll just call it that. But more on-brand content as normal. I, for some reason, didn't put I don't know if you noticed the past. There was 2 episodes where I put a custom thumbnail for the pod, and I didn't do it, I think, for the last week and the week before, because I really don't have an explanation for it, but I also want to apologize for that. And also Connor's Graveyard merch and Tuesday merch, a new drop happened. So if you're able to cop a hat or a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or crew neck or whatever, and yeah, that's all I've got.
I was up in the Twin Cities. I like to call them Twin Cities. It's kind of something that I alone do. But anyway, I was up in the Twin Cities this weekend, and I was wearing my Connor merch around, and no one said anything. So, but I could tell that they were all thinking it.
Yeah,
they were all.
They wanted to ask, but they weren't they were kind of standoffish,
Yeah.
Like, oh, Charlie, they don't want to be draw away from the conversation to draw, possibly onto something a little maybe more interesting, piece of Tuesday Ghost merch. But
no, it didn't happen. Nobody talked about it, but I'm sure they all wanted to. I can guarantee everybody wanted to talk about it, but they just felt nervous.
Yeah, over here in Lincoln, that's what I like to call it.
L-Town, baby.
Yeah, L-Town, that's what I like to call it. A lot of people will make comments about the Tuesday Ghost merch. It's interesting, L-Town, it's maybe we're just a little bit more open about that type of conversation here. But I'm sure over in the Twin Cities it's kind of a new thing.
Honestly, they've got bigger fish to fry at this point than dealing with the Tuesday Ghost. So they've got some kind of nationally televised social issues to dig into. I forgive them for not asking about the Tuesday Ghost, but anyway, people do bring it up. It's a nice shirt. The embroidery's good. I've washed it a few times. Color's still holding nicely. It's a good shirt. It's a good shirt.
Good.
And I think this is shifting gears a little bit, but kind of shifting back onto the general. Where's the channel? Where's the pod? Just the questions we like to answer here.
Yeah, just a casual BQWA check-in.
Yeah, a pit stop. I think it's fair to say that we're both kind of on the up and up. I know my school just ended. Well, not ended. I've got finals week, but that's nothing. But I did like my final presentations and stuff just a few days ago. So like everything's kind of looking up for us. I think this summer is going to have some quality content. I know I've got some skit ideas we got to work through. In-person pods starting next week. So help me God. We will make it
will
happen.
be an exciting. It will be an exciting time. I'm currently looking for a job so I can pay rent this upcoming August, so that'll be fun if I get a job. Hopefully that doesn't, I mean, it won't detract away from content, but yeah, I got the shit out of my system. I'm ready to get back to the bangers. I'm ready to get back to the classic bangers.
I've even got some content simmering. It's on the back burner, but it's there's bubbling
up. Yeah,
the garlic aroma.
Yeah, we're getting to a room. Yeah, we're about to get to a boil. Yeah.
There's some content from my end that might be happening on my channel. So
that's exciting.
Don't subscribe because it's not worth it. But, it'll be there. It's just for me, really.
Just a little self. All content is going to be serving to the self. So why not, check it out at least.
I bought a film camera, super cheap for
really?
It was like $35 on eBay. Pretty excited about that.
Is it like an on film, like not digital? You mean, or how do you mean film camera?
Oh yeah, sorry, like a film strip camera.
Oh, okay.
That's
cool.
For photography. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty pumped about it. I've been wanting to get it for a while. Friend of the show, Brett, got one, and we went out and did some shooting together, and I was really jealous of his. So I went ahead and found one. Canon 650 coming my way. Pretty pumped.
Nice.
Anyway, that's completely unrelated, but we might be doing some photography content over there on the Charlie channel and stuff like that. So we can all look forward to that. In the meantime, I think we can look forward to this question, can't we, Connor?
Yes. Are we getting into my question or your question?
Let's do mine.
Okay.
It's a week old. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
I think yours deserves kind of some more focused effort. It's a real banger.
Okay.
I think everybody can look forward to that if we get to it later in the episode or next week. My question, Connor, is: would you be friends with your sibling? You've got a younger brother. I've got a younger sister. And I just think it's an interesting thing to think about because I love the heck out of my sister, and we're super close. We've got a really great bond, especially over the last couple of years. You like go through it with them. You're. I think there's some similarities there. Like we really understand each other and all that. But it's weird to think like if we like met in high school, would we have connected? Like I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. What do you think?
I honestly have no. I really don't know how to describe Colin out of a brother context. For those who are listening, we all know Colin as the slouching back in the chair,
legendary.
Talking like this.
Podcast.
Yeah, some quality content comes from him. I don't.
Active in the Discord.
Yeah, maybe I don't. I feel like my brother and I feed off of each other so much. Like we both borrow, like so much from each other. We're on. I don't want to say we're close because it's not like we talk every day. But we're brothers, so I guess we are close. I really don't know how to.
Well, you've got like a good connection. Like there are siblings that really don't get along, and you guys, that's not you.
No,
guys.
we do get along well. I would probably say because I think, at least for me, Colin is someone that I look to bounce off of. Just comedically and everything else in that sense where I don't know. I feel like we're both very independent, but we can also. I've really never thought of my Colin as outside of a brother context. It's weird. I feel like it would be sort of that a Freudian thing where you become friends. Yeah, it's kind of like the Back to the Future Freudian thing where like if you travel back in time and you meet your like either your parents at a younger age, they eventually like will come back and like be like your best friend or like your interest or whatever. I feel like that. Oh fuck, bless me, sorry. I feel like it would be that way with my brother. But it would be interesting. Colin is also a very different beast, I would say.
Yeah, he's a unique character for sure. I think I probably know Colin better than you know my sister Mary.
Yeah.
But yeah, Colin's he's an interesting chap. Okay, so one angle that I was coming at this from is when I was over in the TCs. I like to call them the TCs.
Yeah.
This weekend I was hanging out a lot with my cousins over there, and I was realizing that like that relationship is different in that those are like friends, like the cousins. I've got a pretty good sized family, and the cousins that I'm close to are ones that I think I would be friends with otherwise, right? Like if I met my cousin through college or something, I think she and I would be like great friends still in the same way we are now. And it was interesting to look at that and compare it to Mary, because I don't know if we are. Like, I think Mary is one of the funniest people I know. I love the heck out of her, and I can relate to her so much. Like there's so much shared experience in everything you build on. But she's a very different person from me, and we're into very different things, which is part of it too. But I sort of come down on the fact that I don't think we would. But I think it's made me wonder what friendships I might be passing up, or like do you think there's something to that you pass up potential relationships without maybe giving them as many opportunity? Like, I don't know, it's tough to say, but like so much of that brother-sister thing is based on the family part and the shared experience part. And I was wondering, if I pass up other relationships that could be good, but they just don't have that history to them or something like that. Does that make any sense? But
no, yeah. I feel like this is something definitely that happens when we get older when we think about this, because I feel the more we get older, the more we kind of divert away from actual friends. Like maybe you'll keep like a few like really close friends that have been around forever that are sort of like familial types. I feel like if you get to a certain point with a friend, you would consider them like a brother, where like no matter what happened, you guys would always be friends. But also I know my girlfriend, she doesn't really hang out with as many actual friends. She's very, very close knit with her family, like ever before now than she was, even like a year or two ago, which I think is interesting. And like they are, like she is like best friends with all those people, but they're also related. So it's like a weird, it's a weird relationship, but it is. I mean, I guess it is. You do have to be friends with them. It's weird with family how to like kind of draw kind of those like labels or lines or whatever. You know what I mean? Because it's not like you can't not be family with them in the same way. It's like if you're friends with your family, it's it's not like you can't not be that with them. It's weird.
Yeah, it's such an odd experience. And I was listening on my way back. I just thought of this now, how it connects. But like as I was driving back home, I was listening to a podcast, and a guy was talking about. I think it was a recent episode of Freakonomics, but the dude was talking about like if I had like one life vest and I could only save one person, and one person's like, I think it was like, a really close friend, or like someone that I really enjoy and love and agree with, and one's my brother, who maybe I don't get along with as well, but there's kind of there's strife there, and we maybe don't align as well on everything. There's no question of who gets the life vest. It's the brother every time. Like he's like, there's no question. It's just like a guarantee.
Yeah.
And there is something so odd about that. It's and the way, without getting too much into the context, he was referring to it as like, it's the difference between being like someone and being like from the same thing as someone. Like he's like us or he's one of us is the different the difference.
That is a really interesting way to put it.
So odd how we draw those lines and those familial relationships, like where you get along with people you don't like because your last name's the same.
Yeah.
Or you share a uncle. I don't
know. Yeah, I feel like no matter how much you don't get along with a family member, I think there's always still going to be love there and likeness to some degree, because it is like, yeah, you are one of like the same cloth, you are. It's weird. I feel like no matter what, there is always going to be love there, because like it's going to be the brother every time, because the dynamic and your feelings towards that person, I think, are so much more complex and deeper than a friend. Because I feel like no matter what, in a way, you can make new friends, but you can only have like one of your family members, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Friend, like to some degree, acquaintances are just friends that you aren't very close to. I would say they sort of fill a role in your life. Someone that you can just have fun with or whatever. It's really not that deep of a relationship, or even if it is a close friend, I feel like there aren't as many complexities to that relationship as a familial one is.
Yeah, I wonder. It's tough now that we're talking about this. It's making me wonder, like, is it a good thing? Like, is it good that we just sort of like unconditionally, like, okay, in the context of a brother and sister, there's like shared experience. Like, even if you're different people and don't agree on stuff, you theoretically like grew up together and dealt with the same parents and all of their good and bad and whatever. So there's like something behind that. But if it's like, I don't know, like an uncle, that you maybe see once or twice a year, and like he's there and he's a good guy and you have fun with him. It's like, I think it's very, it's different that you're sort of like forced into this unconditional, literally like unconditional, sort of unearned, passion or care or like devotion to someone. Is that like weird? Is it weird that we're like that? Or does it just make sense that that's how we view family?
Yeah, I feel like it's inherent. It's sort of built into all of us to feel that way. But it is weird because, other than the fact that these people are related by blood, it's really kind of just strangers. But you do get like a backstory from your other family about that person, so maybe, I don't know. Yeah, you with strangers, you don't know, because I'm sure like when we first became friends, I'm sure we had to. I mean, we had to build a rapport, a banter relationship, and a respect there that you wouldn't normally have to build with a family member. It's sort of just that respect and rapport is already sort of built in, whether it's awkward or not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And maybe that's kind of the beauty of it, is it there's sort of like it saves you some of the difficulty of working through stuff because it's just like there, like here's
Yeah.
this person, you like him, like it
Yeah.
it makes it a lot easier. Do you think you could do that? Like, uh, you couldn't, because you couldn't like recreate the nature of family. But do you think if there was a way to like, I feel like high school is a good time period to look at this. But if you took, like two freshmen and put them in the same room and said, okay, you two like somehow have the same
Yeah.
connection as a family would, do you think that would work? Like, do you think you could make people make more friends that way somehow? It's a very dystopian
Yeah,
and
I don't
absurd
know.
thing to
Yeah,
think, but
maybe. I feel like a lot of it too has to do with that shared experience, but more in a traumatic way, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm.
I feel a lot of family is so bonded together through trauma bonding in a weird way, because
Yeah.
that builds really the strongest relationships, and I feel like that's why it makes it so complex. I if I were to have sort of a traumatic experience shared with a friend, I feel like that relationship would go, like so much deeper
Mm-hmm.
and last so much longer because of that. Because if someone were to be mad at that friend and go to me to be like, "Oh, I'm pissed off," like I would just, have to, like, I would always have to side with that friend that I built that sort of traumatic, familial experience with.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's you under I feel like you understand that person so much better.
Yeah, yeah. Shared experience is so huge. Um, I think that's something that's made this last year so hard. Just as you mentioned it, I think it is. But like, it's I think everyone sort of is amazed that it's been like a year and a half,
Yeah,
and that
that is
this
crazy.
summer is already starting. And I know most people I talk to feel like it went pretty slow. Like it's crazy how much time has passed, but the whole like every day felt
Yeah,
slow. And I feel like most years you look back and you're like, wow, like that, those days just went bang, 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 bang. Um, Whereas this one, it's like, wow, those took forever, and yet it's been a year and a half. Like,
yeah,
how? Um, and that it makes me wonder. Like, I think it's because people experienced less, right? And if
yeah,
you're not having that shared experience, it's tough to build relationships. Like, I think very few relationships in my life grew over the last year, and I certainly didn't like add any new ones. Like
yeah. No,
it's not
yeah,
like it was easy to meet or develop that stuff with people.
no, yeah. I feel the same way. I don't know. It's interesting. Like the sort of what we talked about. What was it, last episode or a few episodes ago, where we talked about what is something a friend of yours should know about you. Um, fuck. Where was I gonna go with that? Where was I gonna go with that?
I don't know. It's like the shared experience thing, and
Yeah, yeah. Just I don't know. I mean, I know it's like two types of people who do this, but I'm very someone who's very comfortable having like a very small, close knit
yep.
group of friends, and so I guess I didn't really mind not meeting new people because I was already comfortable, for better or worse, with that already built-in group of friends. And I don't know, I guess it's weird. I view friends in a weird way. Like, I'm not gonna, I mean, I put myself out there, with like, I have no problem meeting new people. I mean, I get very annoyed by it, but it's something that we all have to
Mm-hmm.
you know go through. But I think friends is something, some friends will come and go, and some friends will uh stay like forever, and some friends are there for a certain time in your life. um it's weird. I don't know. If you're gonna make a new friend, I feel like it's, of course, you have to meet the minimum standards of, you have to go out and put yourself out there and, put yourself in a position where you have the chance to meet new people. But I feel like friends are more utilitarian in a universe way, to a person's life than a family member is. But I guess you can say that the same thing about a family, because a family member you could hang out with that person or be closer with that person at a certain time in your life compared to others.
I think you make a good point, and in there I thought of a couple things, but like one that seems the most pertinent to what we're talking about is like, I had some shitty things like happen to me, over the last few months, as did you. But I know for me, like, it was often easier to reach out to family in a weird way, because there's like like they have to care, like, and you just expect them to. And I guess it's worth noting and appreciating that you and I are both from very like solid family units, like I shouldn't say it like it's a universal thing, a lot of people are in really bad situations, and that's, I don't even know what to say about that. But for me, it was great to know that like those people have to give a shit, like I can burden them with myself anytime, because they just have to deal with it. And that's even close friends, and I ended up, I used and needed a lot of close friends during that time, like you and Brett and Ben and my other friends out in California. I talked to and worked through this a lot, but there was always, and this is a personal struggle for me, but there was always that feeling of like a burden, where I just, I thought like, do they really want to deal with this? Like, is this really what Connor wants to hear about right now? Whereas if it's like my cousin or something, like, she has to. It's
that is true.
Like we're tied for whatever reason, even though it's completely arbitrary.
Yeah. No, I would. I feel like I do. I'm not sure how I feel. I think I used to feel like a burden, but then I think at a certain point I kind of stopped caring if I thought I was a burden, because I feel like I'm just going to talk about what I feel like I want to talk about to whoever, and if if I feel close to someone, I'll talk about whatever I feel comfortable talking with them about. I definitely used to. I mean, I feel like in general I'm a pretty closed off private person, but I do, if I feel like talking to someone about something, I'll do it, whether that be family or not. Sometimes, I mean, almost, I feel like I will not tell stuff to my family rather than like a close friend, just because, I mean, I don't really have a strong like extended family, but my my mom, my dad, and my brother are all, I would say, very close, and we all kind of like keep up with each other very frequently, but it's also, I don't know, it's just family stuff. I don't really want to go too deep into how my family's run, but I guess for me it's kind of like a pick and choose of whether I'll choose, like, to talk about a tough time with my parents or my friends, depending on how I feel the status of that relationship is at the moment.
Yeah, and there's a lot of truth to that, and it's definitely like, I think for most things, the first people I go to are my friends. Like for most things it's easy, but it was nice when I was at a point where I really needed something. I knew I could go to them, and there was no. They didn't have anything better to do. Even if they did, they're like I'm still holding this fucking cord. I don't know why. That was like,
I've been holding this tweezer for like
I
like,
twiddle with something.
no,
the
yeah,
whole
I do.
time we do
I
these
do
things.
too.
Yeah, every time I gesture, one hand has something dumb in it that flies up. But um, yeah, that was a nice thing to know. I've got a topic switch, Connor. This is just, it popped into my head during this, but I think it's an interesting deal, and I think it can kind of close us out here. And I guess it ties back to one of our favorite topics, social media. So while I was on up in, I like to call it the big zone. While I was up in the big zone with my cousin this last weekend, we were chatting, as you would when you spend a weekend with someone, and she was saying that of all of our family, like the extended family members, she's like, I think I keep up best with me, or like, yeah, like she keeps up the most with me. And she was like, it's odd though, because like you don't have like Instagram or Facebook. I don't have any social media, right? So there's nothing out there like that. And she's like, so it's weird to me that you're the one I keep up with. And this isn't exact, like the conversation was more drawn out than this, but I at some point had the realization, do you think, because I think there's a lot of truth to this, that the reason she is closest to me is that there is no social media, right? Like if she thinks of another cousin, she can just like go look on Instagram, see what that cousin's up to, or that cousin just might pop into her feed on a day, like, oh, here's what this person's doing, and you see that. But for me, if she thinks, oh, what's Charlie up to? She's got to like, you've got to reach out. There like has to be that and the same thing for me, right? Like I'm not seeing her anywhere. So if I want to talk to Laura, I've got to, seek out Laura. You think there's truth to that?
I think there is truth to that. I know my mom she's like any Gen X parent, they're really huge into Facebook and keep up with all of that. I know my mom does that a lot. I mean, she also talks on the phone with a lot of my family, but I know she'll sort of, catch up in that sort of distant social medium where like on Facebook you'll say, oh, like this is what this person's up to. I think there is a lot of truth to that, because I mean, no matter like if you're posting random dog shit or genuine stuff, the person's gonna know what like you're up to. You can kind of get a read on what that person's like emotional state is like, or how they're doing based on the their posts. Which
it's satisfying some interest in that person. Like if a YouTuber goes a long time without posting, which this isn't a thing that occurs to me because I don't really follow anyone, but like as an example, like if my relationship with that person is I view their YouTube content, if they go a long time without posting anything, then I wonder what's up with them.
No, yeah.
And I feel like it would be the same thing where your relationship with this cousin or semi-distant relative becomes, oh, what are they up to? And if you see, oh, they're in, I don't know, Estes National Park or something, like, oh, then that checks that box. Whereas if you think like, oh, what's this guy up to? No idea. I better text him. I think it's like a great way to keep up with people, obviously, but I think social media does present this element of sort of like fake keeping in touch, where you're reminded and know what's up with that person, but don't actually have to do anything.
Yeah, it's like it's second degree way of interacting. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of times where someone can post something on social media and then later at a family gathering, they'll be like, oh, I saw that you, or even with like a friend, be like, oh yeah, I saw you did this on Snapchat or whatever the fuck. And you talk about that, but it's not like you're gonna reply to their story or their post and be like, oh, you're in this place, how's it going? Like, I've never heard of that happening. It is a weird, I feel like with family it might be more normal, just because
to send that like follow up, like what's going on,
or just not to feel as weird about, have that second degree interaction with that person, because I feel like with a family, I mean, most of the time you're always kind of in a loop of hearsay of what these people are up to.
Yeah.
With friends, I mean, I know this has been, talked about to death in our fucking weird age of social media, but yeah, I do feel like the obligation to hang out and keep up and be close to friends, the bar I think is so much lower, just because you don't have to interact with that person on a first degree, like call them or text them, because you're kind of communicating to your friends through that post, and I mean, for better or worse, that might breed like a closer bond with closer friends, or if you have like a wide range of just kind of averagely acquainted. Oh fuck, my fucking camera.
Uh-oh. Is this where we call it?
I
feel like we got to wrap it up a little better than that.
I know, we're at like 37. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, I think to take it back over for a sec, I just thought it was interesting, because I feel often that I'm left out of things because of social media, especially with family. Like every time I come up and I'm around them and I see them, I find out things like, oh yeah, you didn't hear about any of that? That's a whole thing, like, and I never hear about that because I'm not in that loop. I'm not, part of those dialogues, despite being, I think I would say, like, really involved and really like active and participatory in my broader family matters. So this was interesting to me, just because I feel so left out so often, and figure that people sort of inversely feel the same about me, like that they would know the least about me because of, my lack of involvement. So it was interesting to hear that. It was just like, it surprised me for someone to say, like, I feel like you and I are the most connected of anyone else here.
Yeah, because
despite that,
yeah, because you have to have that sort of active interaction.
Now, I guess an important qualifier on this would be that she and I call and text far more regularly than any of my other, family members I know. Like my I keep up with some, but to no extent like her. And it's not like it's maybe like every month or so that we call and text occasionally, but still, it's like it's a different. She and I are like a higher level than most others, so I'm sure she's maybe the only one that could say that. But I thought it was an interesting point on the social media end of things, that maybe because she sees all these other people, there's less of an interest in checking up on them.
And I think it does sort of depend on the person, and I think it's good that your cousin is a person to where, like, if just to, they feel like they have to keep up, or not even feel like they have to, just they want to keep up, and they kind of use that social media as sort of a more innocent and like genuine, sincere way of interacting and keeping up versus other people, which I think is good. I think that's a really good reason to keep up with someone, because I think that shows the sincerity of that person. Yeah.
Anyway, that was just an interesting observation. It's from a sample size of 1, so you literally couldn't make it any smaller, and it is like a closer relationship than most others that I have with family. But I just thought it was interesting and worth bringing up as it relates to stuff on the pod. And yeah, there we go. Would you be friends with your sibling? Maybe. That's our final answer there.
Yeah, we'll put a hard maybe on that, yeah.
A committed maybe, yeah. And with that, we'll see you next week in person, right?
Yeah, no more camera shuts off.
No. Your claps go quiet when we're on Zoom, like we are now. So I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you can't hear the claps?
No, yours go quiet. Can you hear mine?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Well, when you're talking, yeah.
Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah,
when you
it's the
talk,
talking,
we know how this works. These clever AIs these days.